I know y'all probably wasn't expecting me to do a video this late or whatever the case may be. However, because this is one of those emergency videos, this one had to be slipped in there somehow, some way at a particular time. And I said this right now is the perfect time to do it, considering I said I wasn't going to do any uploads for Thursday. So I said, let me push this one out here today, but also not have it interfere with the 6 p.m. upload as well. And I knew y'all would stay up for this. And that is the breaking news story in the case of the McMichaels and the William Bryan trial. And that is all three of them being found guilty on a vast majority of the charges that they were hit with. Now, they didn't get them on every last charge, but they did get all three of them on the main charge, which is the one that they wanted, which was the murder charge. So they will most likely be going to jail for a very long time, all three of them. But we'll see what that sentencing looks like. I'm not sure when the sentencing is actually going to be. I actually just woke up from taking a nap, as a matter of fact, and I'm recording this video at 3:07 p.m. And by the time this video gets uploaded, it'll be probably after 10, maybe close to 11 by the time this video gets up, or by the time y'all see it. And I had got one of the first people that messaged me was Versatile Legacy on Instagram, and he said, "Family, did you hear?" And he said, "Guilty," and that's when I just knew. But then I went to Twitter, and it showed it right there. That's the top trending story around the world, saying that all three of these guys were were found guilty of the murder charge. So, and then now that's pretty much all they're talking about right now, because it's a breaking news story, and they're probably gonna be talking about this most likely for the rest of the day. Honestly, myself, I didn't have any doubts with this trial. Sometimes, we often think that maybe they will or maybe they won't, because we've done this song and dance before so many times that you think that, oh, it's no possibility that they'll be found guilty. It's just no possible way that they can walk away from this. But when you think about it from I would say not maybe from the very beginning, but when you think about what was going on in the antics that the defense was trying to do, like not have many pictures up there of Ahmaud, not having him be referred to as one thing or the other, how the defense was handling the case during the trial, them trying to push for a mistrial, the comments that was being said from the defense. But I think the icing on the cake was when Travis McMichael had got up on that stand last week, and I showed this in my live stream on my Random Real Time channel, when he basically incriminated himself and basically told everybody, about what really went down, and it pretty much conflicted with the stories that they were telling prior to that. And I said, yeah, this is a wrap. I said this is a closed case right here. Do they even need to go any further? Well, the only thing I was really worried about was them taking this deliberation past Thanksgiving and them having to have a whole day in between of no deliberations because it's a holiday, and then having to reconvene on Friday. But they said, but then he was like, no, they need to push that verdict out today. They basically were saying this verdict needs to come down and be handed down today. Like, we cannot let this go on another day. It pretty much has to happen today. Let this thing happen before tomorrow, because anything can happen, and you don't want to take any risk or any chances of anybody's mind changing or whatever the case may be. So they definitely got all of them on the main charge and some other charges. I'm going to read the article and see what else they've been found guilty on, because they faced a multitude of charges, but the main charge is the one that they wanted, and that's what they got, plus some other additional charges. So I'm gonna go ahead and start to read what they have put out there. It says a jury has found all three men charged in the killing of Ahmaud Arbery guilty of murder. Gregory McMichael, Travis McMichael, and William Roddy Bryan Jr. were charged with malice and felony murder in Ahmaud Arbery's death, which sparked national outrage after a video of his shooting was made public. Arbery was jogging in Brunswick, Georgia, when he was fatally shot in 2020. Okay, I had to pause the video right quick and switch it from CNN, from what I was reading, because it's a live coverage, so they're getting them in as it comes, so it's not a complete article as of right now. So I switched it to Yahoo. That's a more solid article that was posted less than an hour ago. It says a Georgia jury decided Wednesday to convict 3 white men accused of murdering 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery, an unarmed black jogger. Father and son Greg and Travis McMichael and their neighbor William Roddy Bryan faced 9 felony charges during the trial. All defendants face a minimum sentence of life in prison. Now, did you hear that? A minimum of life in prison. It's very rare that you hear that come through. A minimum of life in prison. Not a minimum of this amount of years in that. Life. Which 9 times out of 10 means that's what they're going to get. And the thing, as far as I'm concerned, the minimum of life in prison, I think the least you can do is do that with the possibility of parole. The next one up is without parole, and a step above that for me is the death penalty. But like I said, we'll see what the sentencing is going to be like, and they probably won't do sentencing for these 3 and probably to like January, possibly, maybe. Travis McMichael, the only one found guilty for malice murder, was convicted on all 9 counts, which included felony murder, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and criminal attempt to commit felony. Greg McMichael was found not guilty of malice murder, but found guilty on the other 8 counts. Malice murder refers to when a person unlawfully and with malice aforethought, either expressed or implied, causes the death of another human being. And since Travis McMichael was the one that had the gun and pulled off the fatal shot, that's why he got found guilty of that malice murder charge, and Greg McMichael didn't. He got found guilty of the other 8 counts. That just places him there in the involvement. Bryan, the neighbor who took the video of the shooting and helped entrap Ahmaud, was found guilty of 3 counts of felony murder, 1 count of aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and criminal attempt to commit felony. He was acquitted on the other charges. Guilty, guilty, guilty. After nearly 2 years of pain, suffering, and wondering if Ahmaud's killers will be held to account, the Arbery family finally has some justice. Nothing will bring back Ahmaud, but his family will have some peace knowing the men who killed him will remain behind bars and can never inflict their brand of evil on another innocent soul. Civil rights lawyer, that bag chasing Ben Crump, an attorney for the Ahmaud Arbery family, said in a statement. Today certainly indicates progress, but we are nowhere close to the finish line. America, you raised your voices for Ahmaud. Now is not the time to let them be quiet. Keep marching, keep fighting for what is right. Crump continue. Cut the check, please, and thank you. We can start there. But we know they're not going to say that, so I'm saying it. The 12 jurors took more than 10 hours over 2 days to come up with their unanimous verdict, which means across the board, that's what they all came up with. There was no conflict. Superior Court Judge Timothy Walmsley thanked the jury for their service and said he will address logistical matters with them later. The killing of Arbery on February 23rd, 2020 initially fell under the radar but drew national attention after a video of the killing was released that May. The McMichaels told police they thought Arbery was fleeing a fleeing burglar when they armed themselves and pursued him in a pickup truck. The defense said Travis McMichael, age 35, had encountered someone in a similar circumstance and that he and his father, age 65, were concerned about about recent break-ins. On this night, Travis is driving out of the neighborhood to go get some gas, defense attorney Jason Sheffield recalled in his closing arguments. And on his way out, as he is driving down the road out of the neighborhood, he sees a man run across the street and duck into the shadows. The February 23rd video recorded by Bryan, age 52, shows Arbery running between the vehicles operated by Bryan and the McMichaels and briefly disappearing from view. The roughly half-minute video then shows Arbery in a scuffle with Travis, who then fatally shoots him. Arbery collapses after trying to run a few more steps. Although Arbery was killed in February, Bryan and the McMichaels were not arrested until May, after the video was posted online, sparking public outcry. The actions of law enforcement and local prosecutors came under scrutiny in the aftermath of the video's release. Gregory McMichaels is a former Glenn County police officer, and 2 prosecutors recused themselves from the case due to conflicts of interest. The makeup of the jury also caught heat during the selection process for its lack of diversity in a state still haunted by the memory of lynchings. Glenn County, where the trial took place in southeastern Georgia, is about a quarter black, but only The only one black juror was chosen. The state accused the defense of eliminating black jurors based on race. So they, like I said, they did everything they could to try to make this thing go one-sided, and nothing worked. That's what makes this even more poetic. They did everything. They even, that, as I'm gonna quote one of my followers on Twitter, that Miss Frizzle looking attorney, I think her name is Laura Hogue or something like that, who commented saying something about Ahmaud Arbery's dirty nails that had absolutely nothing to do with this. She can eat a bag of nails for that comment. And I'm sure Ahmaud's mother probably wanted to get up, and instead of leaving out of that courtroom when she said that, she probably wanted to get up and walk up to her and knock her dead in her, you know what? And I would have been all for it. They would have held her in contempt, but you know, it is what it is. But you know what? The trial is over. Wink, wink. And that's all I'm going to say. Walmsley said at the time that the court has found that there appears to be intentional discrimination in the jury selection process, but allowed the trial to move forward. He said the defense had met the legal standard necessary to dismiss the potential jurors, coming up with reasons beyond race for removing them. The three men also face federal hate crime charges in a trial scheduled for February 2022. So they're not out of the woods yet. They are not out of the woods yet. So it looks like we'll probably be back here again in February. In an interview with Yahoo News in early November, Ahmaud Arbery's father, Marcus Arbery, said he hopes the verdict will alleviate some of their pain. We get justice, and this is a lot of pain for us gone. We still struggling, and we still out here fighting for our children, not just mine. We don't want nothing like this to happen to nobody else's family. He died because of skin color, so that's really, really hard for me and his mom and our family. Well, I'm glad they are admitting that's what it is, because sometimes you have some parents that'll dance around that and whatnot instead of telling it like it is. And I'm glad they're telling it like it is. But I'm glad that this is the outcome when it comes to this situation right here. I'm glad that, you know, I got to give a real big shout out to his mother, because his mother was very, very outspoken about this last year. She was the one that said they should get the death penalty, and she stood by that. I wonder if she still stands by that today. But like I said, we don't know what their sentencing is going to be, but they said they're going to get a minimum of life sentence. So I'm going to say they're going to stick by that. And that's for all three of them. So we shall see. And then they got federal hate crime charges their way in February. The fact that they got found guilty on all of this means they're naturally they should get found guilty of those as well. So like I said, they're not even out of the woods yet, but they about to go into the belly of the beast real soon. And we can't wait for that to happen. So I think the next time we will be talking about this is when the sentencing occurs, whenever that is. And then we'll probably come back again when they talk about the hate crime charges in February, which is, they said, February 4th, 2022. But yeah, this is another, I guess you can say this is another dub that we have caught this year. First it was Derek Chauvin, and now it's these three. And what makes this interesting is that all of these cases were caught on camera. Because sometimes you'll have stuff caught on camera and they'll let the persons or the people walk. I mean, yeah, Derek Chauvin, we saw that in real time. Then you had this and we saw that. And the crazy part about it is they all could have gotten away with it if that video did not leak. If that video stayed hidden, we would have gone through all of this time and not known what really happened, or not known what had happened at all. The only people that would have known what had happened were the people that were there and those who decided not to do anything with them. But this also shows right here that when we get loud and vocal, this is the kind of thing that will happen. So I'm glad that that video got exposed. In its essence, I'm glad that's what happened. But I'm going to go ahead and end the video on that note. This is one of those, like I said, emergency vehicles. I had to slip this one in here because it's a breaking story. I always told y'all, if it's a breaking story, I'll slip that fourth video in there somehow, some way. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. I already know y'all about to sound off about this. Y'all probably was banking on me to talk about this. Well, here it is.